Hello and welcome to the Pain Perspective Podcast. I am Nikki, one of your hosts, here with my husband, the one and only Dr. Ashu Goyle. And together we are here to share real and organic conversations from people who have experienced pain, whether it be emotional, physical, or mental, and how they overcame it and created a life they love. We will also be sharing conversations with experts in the field to give you the tools and resources you need to live the healthiest and happiest life possible. Our hope for you is that you hear stories that will change your life and give you hope for the future, that you will walk away feeling motivated and like you can take on the world. Now grab that pen and paper. It's time for the Pain Perspective Podcast.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Pain Perspective. I'm Dr. Ashu Goyle, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing my wife, Nikki Goyle, and giving everyone an opportunity to learn more about her and what she contributes to the practice and to patients' overall health and well-being. So welcome, Nikki.
Thank you. It's nice to be here chatting with you.
Yes, it is. It's great to have you here. So I'll just cut right to the chase. And, you've been such an integral part of the practice. For those of you who don't know and who've been to the practice, Nikki did all the interior design. It's her color schemes, and she picked the flooring out and the paint colors, and really gave the office a unique aesthetic that's calming. These are just some of the things that our patients say when they come to the office. They're really appreciative of the Zen-like quality the waiting area has. It's, especially for patients in pain, it's nice to come into a place that's relaxed and inviting. And what was your inspiration for that?
So, when you came to me and you said, I'm ready to start a practice, a lot of it in my mind, I was thinking about what do we want the practice to feel like? And coming from a service background and realizing that, patient care really has been out the window, patient experience has been out the window. I wanted to create something that was really unique and spoke to you of who you are as a physician. So, you want it to be inviting, you want it to feel comfortable, but then you also want a masculine side of it. But I didn't want this like cookie cutter kind of, okay, we're just going to slap up some pictures that we buy off, Etsy or, wherever and call it a day. Like I wanted some, character. I wanted it to feel special for people who are coming in. So for me, when I started looking at, how are we going to decorate the office? How are we going to do it? I really started looking at like all of the senses. So, when a patient comes in, we wanted all of their senses to kind of be awakened. So their smell. So when you come in, we have, lavender in the room, in the waiting room through a diffuser that's, being, put into the air. We have on the TV, we have beautiful music. So, it's really relaxing and soothing sounds, as well as we also have it's a beautiful landscape. So you can sit there, you can watch, tranquil scenery, and you can really feel relaxed. But then, we also wanted some fountains. So, because water is very relaxing. So we wanted to kind of take all of those things into account. So patients walked in and they feel like they're not walking into a doctor's office, that they're actually walking into an environment that is peaceful, relaxing, and has somewhat of a comfortable, almost homey feel to it. It's kind of like you call it our second home, because, it really is an inviting space. And so I would say those were the main factors when I thought about designing everything. And then, we really love restoration hardware. And so restoration, we love and anybody who has come into the practice, you will see as you go through into the exam rooms and through the hallways, we have all of the blueprints, but I found them in the medical world. So I found blueprints for different medical devices, medical machines, and really wanted to kind of create that sophistication, but in the medical world as well. So,
Yeah, I really
yeah.
think you nailed it. I mean, I know that you wouldn't tell me what you were doing with the design, but I think you executed it very well. And, the feedback from patients has been very positive. And
Thank you.
yeah. So, in addition to that, Nikki also provides patients with anti inflammatory recipes. You can find hundreds of them on her Instagram account. And this has been an integral part of our practice because one of the things we focus on is healing from the inside out. People, whether they're dealing with acute or chronic pain, um, can find ways through diet and lifestyle that can help manage their pain. And so we emphasize food and we emphasize diet, and particularly an anti inflammatory diet. And I mean, I've shared with you some of the feedback we've gotten from our patients. I mean, I'm getting emails from some of my regenerative medicine patients that are saying that your recipes and your meals have been life changing. And I mean, that's I'm getting that a lot. I mean, all my regenerative medicine patients, they get a meal plan. That's really important when you're performing regenerative medicine and doing PRP. I always tell patients when we do PRP or regenerative medicine, they're the pharmaceutical company that's making the stuff I'm going to put back in their body, so make it good. And so you've provided our patients, with a very, you know, simple yet effective anti-inflammatory meal prep. And so, can you talk about what inspired you to do that? And yeah,
So, let me just give a little behind the scenes. So, my background is actually in the beauty industry. So, before we opened the clinic, you know, um, worked with my mom for many years. She had a salon up in North Scottsdale. And obviously, beauty industry is different, but it's very service based. And I've always had a passion for food. And during that time, I started going kind of through my own health things, nothing extreme, very, minor, but I wasn't taking care of myself the way that I should have been, or the way that my body needed me to take care of it. And I started, so in my mid 20s, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Again, nothing super serious. It's I don't have hypothyroidism, but I have Hashimoto's, which it's pretty prevalent and pretty common. But you start to, if some of the doctors that you go to will just say, okay, this is what it is, it's black and white. Here is, your diagnosis, and then hopefully it doesn't turn into hypothyroidism. But if it does, we have a medication that will put you on. Well, when that happened, I wanted to figure out what was possibly causing the antibodies, because Hashimoto's is your immune system is basically attacking itself. And so I wanted to figure out, okay, what could possibly be causing the antibodies. And I mean, there can be a number of different things, sensitivity to allergies. For me, I found out I had an allergy to cashews, or sensitivity. And a big one was the gut. I have had a really bad gut for a long time. I mean, from a child, from the moment I was born, probably 6 months in, I started getting ear infections. I was on antibiotics pretty much my whole adolescence. I don't think I ever went a year without being on antibiotics, some form for something. And so as I got older, I really started having all of these gut issues. And at the time, I didn't know that there was a link between the two. And I, luckily, being married to you, was introduced to functional medicine. And so I went and saw a friend of ours who's a fabulous functional medicine physician. And she really started looking at, from when I was basically in the womb, my mom was carrying me, to now, looked at my entire medical history and everything that I have dealt with throughout those years. And she was able to teach me ways to basically heal my body. So that And then I started doing a bunch of research and reading and really started learning about the gut brain connection and using food as medicine. But at that time, I wasn't fully ready to it's like I took the leap, but I almost went all in and I dove in and I ended up overwhelming myself. And so then I overwhelmed myself to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It is what it is. And so I was just living in this state of, and we both were, where almost I call it surviving, not thriving. And I mean, I was working crazy hours. On the weekends, it was like we would work hard, we would play hard. On the weekends, we were, going out. We'd probably have, a few glasses of wine here, few glasses of wine there. And we were in this cycle. And it really wasn't until the pandemic happened and I started to see how a lot of people that were getting sick, had these underlying conditions that could possibly be helped by their diet and the food that they're consuming. And so at that point, I think everybody was scared during the pandemic, myself included. And so I was really focused on getting healthy because I'm like, okay, if my immune system is going to be kind of I call them like my little soldiers, like, it's protecting my body from, illness and, from, the stuff that's going on out there, then I want to make sure that I have the best, health and immunity that I can have. So you and I started cooking at home regularly. We really were taking a look at the foods that we were consuming, and it was interesting because our salon was shut down, and so I had about, I think, 4 to 6 weeks where I was just at home and focused on, just cooking and eating and living a healthy lifestyle, exercising. And I went from a state of surviving to I was all of a sudden, then I was thriving. I felt better than I had in years. And it was all from just taking care of myself. I mean, I felt amazing. It felt like I had come back to myself. And so that was my first inspiration. I love to cook. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to start a food page. And I didn't start it with the intent to share healthy food. I started it just to be creative and share recipes with others who maybe don't know how to cook and wanted to learn how to cook and just really wanted to put my love out there. And so I started it. And then fast forward, we opened the clinic, and I started to see that a lot of the patients that were coming into the clinic have this chronic inflammation. And because we are doing this whole body approach, diet is a huge part of that. And so I wanted to express and show people how easy it is to really eat healthy at home. And so I started kind of maneuvering everything and doing more of an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, and then also showing, people how to optimize gut health as well, because gut health is linked to so much. And so that's really how, that was a very long version of your question, a long version answer, but that's really how I got the inspiration to, show people how to use food as medicine.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it really has made a positive impact on many of our patients who, excuse me, who've chosen to adhere to that diet and, really make the commitment to a holistic approach to their health and well-being. So let's talk about some of the specific recipes. Like what ingredients do you typically add, and what do you leave out? And one of the comments patients tell me all the time is that they're easy recipes and they don't take very long. So how did all that come about?
So that's a great question because, for me, when I was going through the process of wanting to eat better, I love food. I'm a huge foodie. And so one of the biggest I'm going to say bummers for me was feeling like I was on a diet. And so that's what I try to show people is you don't have to be on a diet. You can still eat all of the foods that you love, just use different ingredients, use better ingredients, use more whole ingredients. So I'm really big on the ingredients that I use. I always am looking for organic or non-GMO. Yes, it can be expensive, but you can be creative. You can go to different stores. Sprouts is a good one, Trader Joe's, that have cost friendly options if you want to be non GMO and organic. And then, just reading the ingredients. So, all of the ingredients that I use for my recipes, I always am looking at the back. I use the least processed ingredients that I can find. So, and I'm learning, to really do a lot of the things that maybe 10 years ago I was buying, I'm just making at home. And that's what I try and share with you guys is that it's so easy to make a lot of these things that you might think, oh my gosh, I could never do that. I'm not a chef, I'm not a cook. I mean, a lot of the recipes I create are 30-minute recipes. They're anti-inflammatory, which means, it's helping to reduce inflammation in your body naturally. So I do a lot of spices. Turmeric I use that in a lot of my salad dressings. I do a turmeric juice. So that's a big one. Garlic is great if you don't have a sensitivity to garlic. A lot of fresh herbs. We have a garden, and so, I do that. But if you are somebody who you want to eat organic, you want to find these fresh ingredients, you can also go to local farmers markets and pick stuff up. So it's really it's I feel like today it's easier than ever to adopt a healthy lifestyle and healthy food into your daily regimen.
Yeah, absolutely. And the patients who have delved into that, your recipes and changing their diet have found that it's actually really easy and very enjoyable. I had one of my patients I'll never forget. I still take care of her. She's extraordinary. But in preparation for her regenerative medicine treatment in December, she said she wanted to commit to the anti-inflammatory recipes for 2 months. And this was right over the holidays, and she was overweight and but still very active. She's an extraordinary woman, and
Hmm.
she was able to lose almost 25 pounds. And she said that she was eating
Wow.
more than she had prior to starting the anti-inflammatory recipes, and she and her husband were enjoying them more. But she actually lost
Mhm.
25 pounds in 2 months and looked great. She
Wow.
noticed that her knee started feeling better. I specifically was treating her hip at the time, and I remember her plasma well. Actually, most of my patients who follow the anti-inflammatory diet, when I do their PRP procedures, I notice that you can see the clarity in their plasma, and for me, that's always a good sign that they've been eating clean and they're fully committed to optimizing their outcomes. So that's just one example.
No. Yeah, and you see when you start eating healthier, it's like the side effects of eating healthy and all of the benefits that come with it. It's like you lose weight, if you have chronic pain, I mean, when you lose weight, it's great for patients who are dealing with pain because pain can, add or I'm sorry, weight can add pain to your body and you can explain that a little bit better. But I mean, your gut health, your mood, you sleep better, you feel better, allergies aren't as bad. There's so many benefits of eating a healthy diet and a healthy lifestyle. And it's just getting the inspiration and having somebody, excuse me, having somebody there to help you and kind of, guide you along the way, offer some support because it's not something that can happen overnight. I mean, maybe for some people, but usually we have a method at the practice that we like to call the baby steps method. And it's slowly integrating these steps into your lifestyle and eating the eating healthy and adopting this lifestyle, into your life. So, and that's, one thing we do offer for people who want that extra special one-on-one service and that support. We offer the food coaching. It's not in a, I'm not a dietitian, so it's not in a medical sense, but it's more of a, this is how you can start, eating better, feeling better, these are the recipes you can do that take 30 minutes or less, and just offering that specific guidance.
So yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. I was going to lead into the food
Yeah.
coaching program that we offer,
Okay.
but really it's about healthy habits. I think that's what you're doing through the food coaching, is helping people learn about healthy habits, because many people don't even know what their options are, because we're all caught up in this rat race of a society, and working all the time and not making time for self-care and for an investment in our overall health and well-being. But you created the food coaching program, and several of our patients have jumped on board with that and found it to be extremely beneficial. So I always tell them, it's about healthy habits, because you're not a dietitian, you're not a nutritionist. It's really more coaching and making better food choices and better choices overall for your health. So can you talk more about the program?
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, again, I had, when we started the practice, it was kind of, and we started to have patients asking more questions and wanting to know more about anti-inflammatory recipes, and how, everybody would say, how do we do it? Like, how do we take this step? And when I was going through my issues in the beginning and learning my body and, what I needed to do in order to get it to a healthier state, I went to a dietitian, and she would say, okay, well, you need to eat this and you need to eat this. But I was like, okay, but what does that look like, in a recipe form? Can you give me some recipes that I can create at home? But it was just telling me what I can't eat, instead of saying, okay, here are some recipes that you can eat. And so that's what I wanted to in the program. So that's part of it. The diet and lifestyle part of it is offering specific recipes based on you as an individual, based on whether you're vegetarian, are you gluten free, do you prefer to eat certain types of meat, do you like nuts, do you not like nuts? So they're basically basic recipes that are geared towards you and your taste, so you're actually enjoying the process of eating healthy. You don't feel like you're on a diet, and that's the biggest thing when you're eating healthy, is you don't want to feel like you're on restriction. You want to feel like you can still enjoy life, because it's all about balance. My mom has taught me from a very young age, everything in moderation. So you still, yes, you want to eat healthy, but you still want to also enjoy life, because there's also a mindset component that goes into the health of your body. And if you're eating healthy, but then your mindset is like, I hate this, I don't want to do this, then it's kind of counterintuitive. And so part of the program also that we go into, so we do diet and lifestyle, and then we also do mindset coaching, because again, mindset coaching is huge. I'm actually getting a certification right now for somatic coaching, which is kind of going to dive deeper into the mindset portion of it, and it helps to kind of heal some of the trauma and some of the things that people go through. And because sometimes there is a brain component when it comes to eating healthy and dieting, and if you have extra weight. And so it helps to kind of heal some of those underlying things that are going on, so you can have a better relationship with food, which I think is really important. And then we go into movement. Movement is huge as well. There's a big movement component when it comes to getting healthy, and for me, I learned that I thought, oh, I have to go and kill myself at the gym, and that's how I'm going to be healthy. And I ended up again feeling worse. So we really dive into helping you find out what your movement style is and how to create the, exercise regimen, that's going to work best for you and your body. And then we also have the sleep portion, because sleep is also a big component of a healthy lifestyle. So if you're not getting adequate sleep, you're not gonna your mood's gonna be off. You're not gonna feel good. It causes increase in cortisol, and so it just is not good for the body. So we teach you ways to optimize your sleep as well.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah. Can you go a little bit more into the somatic coaching for patients who don't know what that
yeah.
is, and so they can understand it, and maybe if they resonate with it, it's something that they can look into, and get on board with you coaching them.
Yeah. So somatic coaching, I found it through breath work. I love, love, love breath work. And Ash and I have been meditating for years, and I love meditation, but I was kind of one of those people that I would meditate and I felt like my mind was constantly just still thinking. I've got my to do list, I've got this going on. And so I always was wondering, I'm like, am I getting the benefits? And then I went to a retreat last year, and this woman who is a breathwork facilitator came, and I did breath work, and I was just blown away. And while I was doing the breath work, all I could think was, I can't wait to show other people how to do this, because and it's hard now to explain what I was feeling at that time, but it was just almost like this form of bliss. Like it was like meditation, but heightened times 1,000. And so after that, I started doing this breath work regularly. And then I was introduced to somatic coaching and somatic healing. And so soma is the body. So basically, what somatic coaching is so you'll have like mindset coaching, which is dealing with, your thoughts. So trying to, you know, change your thoughts or control your thoughts in a way that is more positive, and hoping that you kind of shift your well-being based on the way that you think and your mindset. But with somatic coaching, you're actually helping the person go into the body and heal some of the beliefs and some of the things that feelings that and emotions that we have that can cause some of the thoughts that we're having. So it's very, very powerful. I've seen a huge difference just in myself since I have been doing it. I always had this kind of like pit in my stomach, kind of like something stressful at work happens. Maybe you're thinking about, things on your to do list, whatever you might have, and I would automatically get this pit. But by doing this somatic coaching, it was interesting. I was doing a session the other day, and you kind of drop in, and it's kind of like meditation style, but you have a coach kind of leading you through everything. And the pit in my stomach was gone. And for the first time in a while, I was like, I have no stress. I feel no stress in my chest. I have no stress in my stomach. And I was surprised because we have a lot going on in our lives. We have, a lot to do. So it's really helping to heal a lot of that like inner, deeper stuff that we all have been carrying around for a long time. And this can happen from childhood, you know, this can happen. We all experience some form of trauma throughout our lives, whether it's small or great. And this helps to kind of heal that so you can be the best version of yourself.
Yeah. So it sounds like we always say people don't know what they don't know, and through this work, you kind of identify those roadblocks, whether they're emotional, mental, physical, and really find ways to release them.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like you're healing it versus doing mindset work and telling somebody, "Oh, no, 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 okay, just think positive thoughts and your life will change." Like you're actually healing that inner trauma or those inner emotions that we all have. I mean, we all have them, and some, have more and some have less, but we all have it, and sometimes they can be roadblocks and they can prevent us from living our best lives, and they can also keep us from having relationships with other people. They can create a negative relationship with money, with food, with yourself. And so it's healing all of that so you can just live a peaceful life.
That's fantastic. So,
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, if you guys want to reach out to Nikki, you can find her at the practice, Integrated Spine Pain and Wellness. Our phone number is 480-660-8823. We have our website, ispwscottsdale.com. And then Nikki, she's also on her social media platforms, and I'll let you tell us about those platforms.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, which is Nikki's Healthy Tastes, and that's Nikkis. And then I will put all of the information in the show notes for everybody. So you can find me. If you guys have questions, you can follow along on Instagram. I'm pretty much posting recipes daily or different like wellness hacks that I've learned myself. And just to help you guys live a happier, healthier life. That's really the goal, to help you thrive and not just
Great.
survive.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks to all of you who have been listening to the Pain Perspective. And there'll be more to come. Hopefully, you find this valuable and beneficial, and you're improving your overall health and well being.
Thank you.